obviously going to tell
us. Oh, no, we are now. Yeah, I just get a theme song.
Oh.
I wonder who's going to... Maybe I could show Ed to sing my theme song. Hey, everybody, it's Mike Pingel. Welcome to Behind the Curtain, the Mike Pingel Show. I'm Mike Pingel. This is my good friend and author, journalist, man about town, designer of clothing, just all welcome, nice guy, David Reddish.
Hi guys, you flatter me, Mike.
I do flatter you. Talk amongst yourself. I'm gonna push this to my page. You know, I didn't do that last week.
Oh.
People were confused where to go to find us. You can always go Behind the Curtain TV Facebook page. It's always there, but it's not up yet. But anyway, we're still live. We're gonna go on. We're gonna talk about some hard-hitting things. It's gonna be. I call it my Barbara Walters Day.
Oh gosh. Okay. I should have brought more Kleenex.
Right? Tissues. Tell us a little bit about your books. How did it come about? And are these two together, and this is a separate one?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah. So these two are part of the Sex, Drugs, and Superheroes soon-to-be trilogy. They're part of a series, and they are about the San Diego Comic-Con and the geek subculture that exists there. Yeah. So Sex, Drugs, and Superheroes is the first book in the series. It came about just from my experiences of going to Comic-Con. This past year was my 14th, so I've seen it grow and swell and change and go through all kinds of craziness. It's such a wild place. You've been to Comic-Con before, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Well, then you know. It's a wild place, and it's so unique and so interesting. I was like, someone should write something about this. So eventually, the novel came about. I tried writing it as a script because my background is actually in film.
Mm-hmm.
I tried writing it as a script and just couldn't get it to work because I realized at a certain point it was sort of about how people think and how they feel more than what they do. So it made more sense to be inside his head, the main character. So when I started writing it in the first person, it just started to flow out, and it came out in 2012, and it's been a wild ride ever since. So
now this person on the cover looks almost like you.
That is not me. That is, I think, you'd have to ask Michael Zablowski, who designed the cover artwork. I think that's his image of the main character. And he may have based it on my face to avoid legal entanglements because he knew I wouldn't sue him if he were trying to base the character on my face on my own book. So, it's something I'm proud of.
So now it says sex, drugs, and superheroes. So is it the sex and the drugs? Do the superheroes do all the sex and drugs, or is it the cosplay people doing the sex and the drugs with each other? I haven't read it. It's horrible. I should read. Tell us a little bit. Tell us the scoops of what's happening here and why the planet of the geeks is going next and what's happening.
Okay. Well, originally it was going to be a standalone piece, and as I was pitching it out to different publishers, a friend of mine who'd had some success as a mystery writer said you need to make it part of a series because right now all publishers want, if you're doing fiction, is a series. So I came up with the idea of sure it's in a series, and about 3/4 of the way. When I was about 3/4 of the way finished writing it, I started to get the idea for a sequel because I think, unlike other people who don't like sequels at all, I think it's interesting to revisit characters further down the line and see how they've changed and how they've grown and how they haven't changed and grown. So this idea for another story with these characters started to gestate, and part 2 came out in 2015, yeah.
So are they loosely based on your fun ads Comic-Con?
I mean, sure.
Look, I'm trying to get the scoop of the sexy scoop on the book.
I'm not going to dish on people if that's what you're wanting me to do.
I'm getting nothing.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're based on things that happen to me. They're based on things that happen to other people that I knew, and they're based on things that I wish would have happened to me or to other people that I knew. It's a fantasy. It's a heightened reality. People ask me my lead character's name is Liquid Sonos, which is an admittedly outlandish name, but it's because he's sort of supposed to be larger than life and to let everyone sort of know subliminally this is not quite our reality. It's maybe something a little bit more, something a little bit louder, put it that way.
So are there dirty parts in the book?
Oh, yeah, there are dirty parts in the book. There are plenty of superheroes, plenty of sex, plenty of drugs, because contrary to popular belief, geeks have great sex lives, especially at Comic-Con. Everyone thinks it's just these mouth breathers who, like, leave their mom's basement once a year. Oh, no. These people have wild, crazy geek sex. Wild, crazy, drug-fueled geek sex, which is why they all pay so much money to go back to Comic-Con every year. It's a fantastic environment to be in. And geeks are actually really good looking.
I just went for the free crap. My gosh, I didn't know this was
They
going
don't
on.
give you free crap anymore. I mean, nobody spends money on it because it's such a like big draw anyway. I don't think that the studios or the TV networks feel a need to promote themselves with all the free stuff anymore.
Really? I guess I haven't been for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think was it in 2006 or 2007, I went into a panel and was handed a shopping bag, just like full of T-shirts and posters and like Roman tattoos and like thermos cups, all kinds of crazy stuff for everything from Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to
Nice.
that movie Hot Rod. I mean, it was really, really wild. And now, you know, it's like they're chasing people away. It's so crowded. It's so strange.
It is strange. So now we're going to go into the passion of
Sergius and Bacchus.
Yeah, thank you, because I can't, I'm white. Now, this is different.
This is different.
This is different. I can tell because the cover's different. See, this is exciting. This is very historical.
It is a historical novel. The short version is I'm somebody who is interested in religion and in history and in gay people, as a gay person myself. And I found this legend of Sergius and Bacchus, who were two Roman soldiers who were gay and were Christians, and they were bodyguards to the Roman emperor.
So this is kind of based on true story?
This is a true story, yeah.
Wow.
It's a fictionalized true story, which is to say there's not a whole lot about who Sergius and Bacchus really were. There's a lot more about the people they sort of interacted with. So that, you know, set me off on, you know, an odyssey that lasted several years.
Wow.
Finding as much as I could about all these people and putting the story together, which is at the core, I think, their love story. So it's a story about the nature of faith and the nature of love.
And which one is which?
This is Sergius and this is Bacchus. Yeah.
I love that you have like little halos around them. They're kind of like angels.
Well,
kind of.
they are saints, actually, in Christianity. Saint Sergius and Saint Bacchus, and they're an example of what are called paired saints. So for those of you that didn't go to parochial school, paired saints are always depicted together. Sergius and Bacchus are never shown separately from one another. The oldest known depiction of them that we have is this painting in Turkey at the monastery of Saint Catherine, and it's from the 7th century, and it also pictures them with halos, and it pictures them together because they were married.
What?
Yeah. I mean, that's the crazy thing. Now, I should add the disclaimer, it's what we call marriage. It's not necessarily what people at the time called marriage, because our concept of marriage has changed. Well, the short version is, in the ancient world, in ancient Rome, or even in ancient Christianity, when people got married, the man was in charge. Like, the man dominated the woman. He owned her. She was considered livestock, and he got all her stuff. You know, he got her cattle, he got her house, he got her property, he got her money. He took control of everything. And then if, you know, he divorced her, he got to keep everything. If she dropped dead, he still got to keep everything. It was all about the man. What they underwent was a rite called adelphopoiesis, which is hard to translate into English. Translated from Greek, it roughly means made brothers. And it's a union that's really like marriage. It's certainly closer to what we call marriage in that it is an equal union. So if you underwent adelphopoiesis, all your money, all your property, all your family, everything went into one big pot. And you were considered one entity under the law and within the church.
Okay.
So when two people of the same gender got married because, at the time, and we don't like to talk about this, women weren't even thought to have souls in the ancient world. They, there's a reason they never were taught to read and nobody ever invested time in them, and it's because they were thought to be on the same level as a dog, which, by the way, it was totally, totally illegal in ancient Rome to have sex with your dog. It was so crazy. Do you have a call in? No. Okay. I was like, oh, we got a caller.
I forgot to turn on my phone.
Okay. So they underwent adelphopoiesis, which is still practiced. It has begun to be practiced in the United States as a same-sex rite within the Christian church.
Yeah.
It's closer to what we think of as equal marriage or marriage equality or same-sex marriage. Yeah.
Wow. Who knew?
I did.
And you can buy his book. Where can people pick up your book?
People can find all my books on Amazon.com. They're all available there, along with some reviews. I don't know what they say. They're also available. So they're available in paperback.
Did you say you don't know what
I don't read my own reviews. I don't, because why bother?
I do.
Okay, well, so they're all available in paperback. They are available as an electronic book, and they are available in audiobook, narrated by me. So if you really want to listen to me speak for 26 hours, go download it on Audible. So.
Wow. Well, that's great. I'm going to have to read some.
Yes, please.
I don't read. Okay, now we're going to go into some questions.
Hard-hitting questions. Let's go.
Now, the artwork. We talked a little bit about, they're just so cool.
Yeah.
Who did your artwork again?
An artist named Jeffrey Prince, who, ironically, grew up about 20 minutes away from me, and I never met him. I never knew him until I lived out here. He's done artwork for Peter Stein's book, Coven of Wolves.
Okay.
And so Peter recommended him to me. I'd initially had another artist that really did want to do it and had to withdraw at the last minute, someone based out of New York. But I talked to Jeffrey, met with him, told him what the story was, gave him a physical description of the different characters, and he was just really, really inspired by it. I got lucky that he was someone that had a lot of experience doing historical artwork, characters from the ancient world, like Cleopatra, for example.
Yeah.
And I told him what I had in mind, and this was a hole-in-one. He came back with this beautiful, beautiful chalk and oil painting of Sergius and Bacchus, based solely on the description that I gave him, and we talked about a few ideas. And it was so stunning when I saw it, because this is, by the way, exactly how I picture the two of them. This is them in my mind, absolutely physically the way they look. I don't think he could have nailed it better. So I was lucky. I also, when I bought the rights to it, I got to keep the original oil painting, which now hangs in my apartment, and people sort of walk by and go, "Ooh, what is that?" I'm like, "You don't know me, do you?"
Well, you also work for Queerty.
Yes, I am entertainment editor. Yes, so I'm entertainment editor for the popular website Queerty.com. Queerty.com, that's right. We focus on LGBT issues, everything from politics to entertainment to what YouTube star, just took a dick pic and it leaked on the internet.
What?
Yeah, we cover everything. We like to look at everything from a gay angle and have kind of a fun spin on it. So it's been a great opportunity. I was recommended by our friend Jace Peoples for the job.
Thanks, Jace.
Thank you, Jace. And my editor, Chris, and I just really hit it off, and it's been sort of roses all the way.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, what's the latest thing you've written for them?
It's funny you ask, because I actually had a piece that went viral last week. It was somewhat controversial because it's about the new film It, the
oh yeah, I saw that.
Stephen King adaptation. Yeah. I sort of took the movie to task because they cut the queer content out. So if you have not read the novel It, or any of Stephen King's novels for that matter, he always has a lot of queer content in his works. He's very egalitarian with all his characters. And significantly, the school bully, Henry Bowers, who's kind of the villain of the piece. Everyone talks about the clown Pennywise, who is evil and is a villain, but the more frightening character is this little kid who starts as a school bully and ends up like this mass murdering maniac by the end.
Don't give anything away about the movie.
I'm not giving anything away about the movie. Other than to say, in the novel, Henry has a same-sex relationship with one of the other bullies, a kid named Patrick. They actually have sex, And Henry later uses this to blackmail Patrick and to manipulate him, which sort of underlines the theme. There's lots of racist themes in the novel. There's lots of sexist themes in the novel, lots of anti-Semitic and sort of religious phobic themes in the novel. And Pennywise sort of embodies all of that because the novel is really about the destructive nature of fear. And there's a demon clown just to scare the bejesus out of everybody. The demon clown made it into the movie. The point of the book did not. And so I was disappointed in the film, which is not bad, you know. It's not anywhere near as amazing as it could have been. I wish they would have shown a little bit more courage and just said, all right, we're doing the truly frightening stuff from the novel, which is the stuff that people do to one another. It's not the stuff that the demon clown does. So.
Wow. So
yeah.
That went viral?
That went viral. I got a lot of hate. I got a lot of love. I got some instant messages there on the Facebook that some of them I've seen.
What about Steven? Did he call you?
Steven did not call me. No. He didn't call me, but I did tweet at him. He did not tweet back, unfortunately. I really wish he would. Because I'd love to discuss the subject with him, just sort of for my own curiosity. I'm hoping when they do It Part 2, which has already been announced, the novel It flashes back and forth in time. Part of it takes place when the main characters are kids, and part of it takes place when they're middle-aged. The middle-aged movie is up next, and I really hope they keep the queer content, which, again, appears in that period as well. There's no reason to cut it out. It's vital to the book. It's vital to the point of the story. Just leave it in. You're doing an R-rated movie. Like, there's no reason to cut it out.
So true. What else have you written for them?
For Queerty?
Yeah.
I've done a lot of movie previews. We had our fall entertainment preview that I wrote the day of my brother's wedding, sitting in a hotel bar. It's a long story.
That's not new, folks. That's not new.
As I was trying to hold court with 200 people that showed up to this thing. Doing our looking forward at everything that is sort of queer or queer interest in the coming fall holiday movie season. I've done other pieces on more independent films that maybe don't get a lot of press, but that people who like great movies or just like queer content should really check out. Most recently, I watched a film called Saturday Church, which is about the New York drag ball scene. So if you've seen Paris is Burning, that's the famous movie about the New York drag ball scene. This new movie is set at the New York drag ball scene, and it's a musical, and the music's actually pretty terrific. It's about a young kid who may or may not be transgender, but he's exploring his sexuality and his gender within the drag ball scene. So he meets lots of other trans people. He gets his first boyfriend. He's 15 years old. And look, if you grew up in the age when I did, the idea that you would see a character who is 15, played by like a 15-year-old actor, by the way, in a musical where he kisses boys and it's this beautiful, beautiful love story, it's just kind of amazing to me that something like this exists. The fact that it's also kind of an awesome movie is even more impressive. Yeah.
Is that in theaters or on Netflix?
It's going to be, let's see, they didn't have distribution when I originally wrote the piece. I just got an email from their PR people, I think last week, saying that December or January it's going streaming, and it is going to go into theaters as well.
There you go.
But I think the plan is for like a cross-platform launch.
You're helping people.
David's helping people.
David's helping people. What inspires you? As a writer, as a novelist, as a person?
That's a big question. Random things, random life experiences, being around people, travel is inspiring. People's lives are inspiring, just the wonder of people in the world that we sort of live in. Other works inspire me. You know, I look at something, I recently rewatched the movie Sunset Boulevard, which of course you've seen, many, many people have seen. And I'm just sort of in awe of, how do you write like that? Where do you come up with this? Like, how do you find this within yourself, this level of honesty and cynicism and humor? Because it's a really funny movie, too. Everybody remembers it being this dark, dramatic movie, but it's also hilarious. So just anybody that can get at that, you know, the thing that's, like, underneath, the truth that's buried, that's what I try to get at. And when I see other people who do get at that, it gives me a swift kick in the ass. Says, get up, do this with your life, because otherwise, what are you doing? You're breathing,
Exactly. Is there a writer that you love, enjoy, you inspire to?
Sure. I mean, with nonfiction, Gore Vidal, who was our gay brother, he would hate that we're calling him that, by the way, but he was totally gay, with a guy for like years and years, and slept with many, many men. I loved Gore. I loved his essays. I loved his novels as well, but his essays were what I always found really impressive. The writer Elaine Pagels, who writes a lot about religion, was a huge influence when I was writing Sergius and Bacchus. Yes, to sort of be iconoclastic with what people think about Christianity, or the things that they think are sort of true about Christianity but really aren't, that people don't want to talk about. In terms of fiction, oh Lord, Alice Walker, who wrote Color Purple. Color Purple is one of the most impressive things I've ever read. Tony Kushner, who wrote Angels in America. If I ever met him in person, I'd probably drop to my knees, because, my God, like, holy God, where do you find that? How do you get that? And he just does it. I marvel at that. I think it's absolutely amazing.
Well, we're going to switch topics to something you also marvel about, that I marvel about. It's called Star Wars.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Star Wars.
Star Wars!
Got some terrible news this week, and maybe you and I will have a point of disagreement.
Oh, my God. I didn't know. What?
Terrible news. J.J. Abrams signed up to do Episode 9 because that hack Trevorrow couldn't get a script banged out. If you saw Jurassic World, you know exactly why that is. Fortunately, Kathleen Kennedy has a lot higher standards than the suits over at Universal. And Trevorrow apparently is a terror to work with. I don't know him personally. I've never worked with him. But the stories are that he's maybe a little bit too headstrong for something that Lucasfilm's looking for right now. As you probably know, they've had a problem with directors recently, firing Josh Trank from one of the standalone movies that apparently was supposed to be about Boba Fett that's now back on the shelf. Firing Chris Miller and Chris Lord and Miller, the two guys that were doing the Han Solo movie.
I don't know.
They shot 3/4 of the movie and then got fired.
Did they really?
And they brought in Ron Howard, and you didn't know that? Oh my God, scandal. Okay, hang on, let's get the gossip here. So they were doing the Han Solo movie, which is like Han Solo's biopic or whatever. They shot almost the entire thing. I think they had 2 weeks of shooting left, and Kathleen Kennedy fired them, like out of the blue. And they brought in Ron Howard that same week, and they reshot almost the entire movie.
What?
Because they looked at the dailies, they thought the tone was wrong, they thought it was too wacky, too silly. It was like this broad kind of slapstick comedy.
Oh, yeah.
And
stop it.
She wanted something funny, but maybe a little bit more grounded.
They filmed almost the whole movie. I mean, that's
the big deal.
Someone's not watching the dailies.
Well, I mean, they were watching the dailies, but I think they maybe tried and hoped that they could get more out of them, but at a certain point, and rumor is one of the actors actually went to them and said he was really concerned about his performance, the way he was being directed, and that was maybe the final straw on it. And with all the drama that happened on Rogue One last year, which, by the way, Rogue One was great. It was terrific.
I loved it.
But, they did extensive reshoots on that. They brought in Tony Gilroy to do reshoots, and he essentially reconstructed half of the story in the last 2 weeks before it opened. They were recutting it right up until the premiere.
Ooh, I want to see those other cuts.
Good luck, don't we all, right? It's apparently a much darker, more violent movie originally.
Originally?
Yeah.
Wow, because I thought it was pretty...
I mean, it is dark and violent, and
that's what I like about that film. I mean,
it's a little bit gritty.
It's standalone. It's a grittier. Yeah. It's not, it's definitely not what A New Hope was.
No, not at all.
Hi, we're New Hope. We're not New Hope.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Oh, Lord.
Hi, we're Force Awakens. We're doing A New Hope. We're doing a carbon copy of it. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, and I don't want a carbon copy of Return of the Jedi, which is why I'm so bummed that Hack Abrams, who, by the way, has not worked since he was an unholy terror on Force Awakens.
Woo!
I'm not going to throw those stories out because I don't want to get in trouble. But, he's not a great director. He's much more of a producer, and I think he approaches his films from a producer's standpoint. And that's great, I think, from maybe the point of view of a business executive. But as an auteur, as a filmmaker, as a director, he's not doing anything bold. He's not doing anything interesting or new. And the thing about Force Awakens, as nostalgic as it was, he did do a great job channeling nostalgia. He did a good job at sort of getting back to the original aesthetic, making everything look the way the original trilogy did, which is almost ludicrous because 30 years have passed, and it's hard to believe that everything would still look the exact same way. But, I mean, the story really doesn't accomplish anything. It's like, Rey is a great character. Daisy Ridley's a fantastic find, and credit him, you know, give him all the praise in the world for that, because I think she is a great linchpin for this new series. But, you know, Adam Driver, I think, is miscast as Kylo Ren. I think that character could be a lot more interesting, but he's written very inconsistently. Characters like Finn and Poe, you know, who are they? What do they want? What are they afraid of? How do they change? They don't. And it's because the movie is more of a TV pilot than it is a film. It's basically all first act and no flesh, you know. I have high hopes for Last Jedi because it sounds great. It looks great. And we're getting more characters like Luke and Leia again. The other thing, and Abrams is going to shoulder some of the blame for this, even though it's not entirely his fault. We will never get the Han, Leia, Luke trifecta ever again.
Nope.
We will never get more, you know, Han and Leia bickering. We will never get Luke and Leia bickering.
That's what got me on the subject, because I watched this YouTube video about Mark Hamill talking about when he was reading the first script, about reading his character and where it was coming in the film. And he was like, he kept reading the script, and they were like, they keep talking about me. I'm sure I'm coming soon. And all of a sudden, he said, you know, he just finds himself at the end, and he was like, what's going on? And he also said, why didn't they had the opportunity. This is what after watching what he said, and I loved the film. It brought me back to what I wanted for the last three films. It really brought a resurgence of Star Wars. But if you have the original three members of the film on one frickin' set, have them do one frickin' scene together.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And he had, Mark had said that, you know, why aren't they there when Kylo Ren is killing, Han? And,
spoiler alert.
But this is what always got me about that film. Daisy's character, Rey, is going off to find Luke. And Leia's like, have a good day. See you later. I'm just going to stay here in my nice blue dress. Bye-bye. You've been looking for him for 30 years. Why the fuck aren't you on the stupid Millennium Falcon?
Well, right. I mean, it's her brother, right? And
aren't they connected?
I can't forgive the way Leia is treated in that movie. Remember, Leia is the girl that always saves the boys. If you go back and you look at the original trilogy, she saves the boys every single time. You cannot pay me enough money in the world to believe that she would sit in a bunker when her son is out mass murdering people.
Oh,
when he's gone out of his
home to me. Are you kidding me?
That is not Leia. That is not Princess Leia. That is not the woman she is. She would be out there saying, where the F is my son? I'm going to kick his ass.
Where the fuck did you see him? I'm going to go see him.
Especially after he kills his dad. Like, she would go to find Luke and say, give me a lightsaber. Let's go whip his ass. Like, but she sits there. And granted, you know, Carrie had some health problems. She hadn't acted in a significant role in a very long time. So I think there was some reservation about that. But at the same time, it's like, she's done this before. Like, she is capable of it.
She's capable of it. There's capable, and then of course, you know, they kill Han.
And then they kill Han.
Then I'm like, I mean, honestly, he could have fallen down, calmed down the shaft, someone found him, put him on a ship. He could still be alive. Who knows? It's Star Wars. You could happen.
Yeah.
But you have all of them in the frackin' movie.
Yes.
Do something with it, please.
Do something with it. I know. As I understand it, the original idea was that Luke was going to be a big portion of the film. There's a lot of concept art that exists of Luke and Rey. You know, at one point they were going to have to dive into the remains of the Death Star. How cool would that have been, by the way? You know, he was having visions of, you know, himself drowning in sand over all this guilt, over, you know, failing the Jedi. He hadn't restarted it, you know, the Jedi Order or whatever. His part was going to be much, much bigger. You know, and Mark, God bless him, is in the point where he can speak his mind, and they can't get rid of him because he's Luke. And by the way, I'm sure he cried all the way to the bank. I know he got big money to show up on set for one day. So, you know, and hopefully his role will be much bigger in the next two.
And I got to tell you, just wrapping this up, R2-D2 hanging out in the corner, freaking dust on him. What the hell?
It was in the unique position of knowing, oh, hey, the movie's over. We got to wrap things up. I'm going to wake up. Because that's good writing. And this is why J.J. Abrams should not be allowed near a movie like Star Wars.
Poor little R2-D2. Seeing Mark talk about it, I have already had respect for him, but so much respect for an actor who loves his character, who really wanted to do something amazing with it. He even said in one of the interviews on there that he had told JJ, and JJ was like, yeah, bye-bye. Good ideas, bye-bye. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's respect for your acting.
And what's really hard about it is now that she's gone, and
yes,
they can't do that now.
No, they can't. They can't do it. I mean, let's hope. She did film all her scenes for Last Jedi, so let's hope there's a reunion. I think that would be the best way to end the film. You know, I don't know what the actual plot of the movie is, but at some point a Luke Leia reunion would be so emotionally satisfying, especially since it's the last time we're going to see Leia.
Yeah.
My sources. I'll add this because every good entertainment editor should have sources. My sources at Disney do tell me that Luke and Leia both have much more significant roles this time out in the new film. And that Mark Hamill is going to have a lot of Oscar buzz.
Hey!
So,
I like it.
I love it.
Well, here are the books.
The books.
This is David.
Hi.
David, tell them where they can find you, because we're wrapping this up.
You can find my work at queerty.com. You can find my novels at amazon.com. They are Sex, Drugs, and Superheroes, Conquest of the Planet of the Geeks, and The Passion of Sergius and Bacchus. They're all available on amazon.com in ebook and paperback. The audiobooks are available on Audible.
And that is it. Thank you for coming.
Thanks everybody. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for watching Behind the Curtain. I'm Mike Pingel on The Mike Pingel Show. Please share this with your friends and family and people you even hate. And I'll see you next Thursday at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. Be good to each other. And our hearts and everything's with the people in Florida.
Yes.
And rebuild. We're all Americans. We love you. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.